Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the truth, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight we have a special one for you guys, man. But before we get into that, I need to take a quick pause for the cause to talk about our amazing sponsor, and that is Sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, Sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to go and check out Sleeps.com. They've got all your athletic gear and wear covered. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you know that the truth is always rocking, baby. And let me tell you, I'm an active guy. I work full time. I go to the gym 5-6 days a week. I got 3 crazy kids. I podcast my ass off. I've got a crazy wife. Just kidding, darling. Mwah! But I've got to say, these boxes are the most comfortable boxes that I've ever owned in my life. I have to tell you that they stay dry, they stay fresh, and they've got amazing designs on the front that keeps Mrs. Austin giggling on what's on the front of the boxes and what's inside them. So go and check out those dirty boxes at Sleeves.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, wherever you're tuning in, make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Tap that little red button and tap in, because you know this is the greatest podcast in the world, baby. Shooting the Shit Uncensored, and we are dropping 2 free episodes every single week, every Tuesday and Thursday. So tap in, and if you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. It helps with all our analytics. And if you want to help us out even more, download the Spreaker app and listen to us on there, because we'll get paid more when an ad plays on Spreaker. So if you want to help us out a bit more, go and download Spreaker and check out Piers Austin on Spreaker. It's easy to find, link in the bio. But without further ado, let's get into my conversation with my guest for this evening. The one, the only, Zuzu, the motherfucking muscle clown, baby. Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. And tonight I'm with one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I know I say that about every guest I have on, but this time I actually mean it. I'm here with the one, the only, Zuzu, the muscle clown. Welcome, Zuzu, to Shooting the Shit Uncensored, brother.
Hey, brother, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey, man, you know what? I appreciate that a lot of people enjoy listening to this podcast, bro, because I try and let it be kind of a podcast that everyone can enjoy. People that are from all walks of life, people that are inside the wrestling business, people who are inside the combat sports business, and also fans of both the combat sports and wrestling worlds as too.
Yeah, man, it's you do a good job, because I think ever since I moved to Sydney, I've been a fan of your show. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro. But you know what, man? You kind of come from an interesting background, bro, because you're kind of one of the last real nomads out there, bro. You kind of I don't know, man. You want to call it like a gypsy sort of lifestyle. I don't know if that's an offensive way to put it or not, but that's kind of the way that you live life, right? This kind of nomadic sort of style.
I've definitely settled down a lot more. I have made other priorities outside of wrestling for sure. I mean, you just have to eventually. It's just you can push it so hard and not get anywhere. Someone actually told me once uh, told me don't focus everything you have on wrestling because you regret it. Like
Yeah.
that's what he said. I didn't, you know, it can be pretty rough, but at the moment, yeah, I'm more settled down now. I'm actually planning on traveling less to Melbourne, so and getting more Sydney gigs. I want
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So
But where are you originally from? Like you're originally from WA, right?
yeah, I'm originally from WA, but I lived in Queensland longer than I lived, you know, longer for my adult life anyway. Um, I lived there. I was in Queensland and traveling back and forth to Perth and Queensland, and then
Yeah,
I
for
just
real.
I ended up just on the East Coast. So I went to when I was doing MMA, I fought amateur over there. Well, it was amateur, but it got you get flights and everything paid for. The shit you don't the shit you don't get in indie wrestling for sure.
Yeah,
At
for
the moment.
real.
But it was a different time then as well because MMA was sort of viewed a little bit more barbaric and a little bit more, like I never considered myself to be an MMA guy, more of a valet tudo. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
actually
Well,
had
but even then, bro, you sent me one of your fights. You sent me one of your fights, and you were like, "What did you think of this? Do you think this was an early stoppage?" And I'm like, "Not an early stoppage, but you think it should have been a DQ?" And I was like, "Yeah, it should have been a DQ." But like, to be honest, I felt like even then, like I'm not sure what the year of that was, bro, but it looked like one of those things where it's like MMA was still really kind of evolving at that stage of what it was. You know what I mean? Like, or what it
yeah,
went to become.
yeah, and they actually told me because I'd been fighting and training in Queensland, and in Queensland they don't have a commission, but they do have a set rule with MMA that there is no striking to the back of the head. It's not
Yeah,
allowed on any of the shows. But when that happened over in WA, they were just like, they it took me years to. I just found the footage, like I didn't know. I actually started to believe in my head that I fucked up and failed, but
yeah.
really I was about to hit a sweep, and then he smashed the back of my skull, and then he just kept on going. And apparently, they told me in WA, even though it was a commission at the time, that punches to the back of the head were legal.
What? No,
Yeah,
never
yeah.
in What year was this, bro?
Oh man, I can't remember this like, for a reason. Probably it was
Yeah,
like
but like fuck, but like no punching to the back of the head. I feel like has been one of the rules in MMA for like almost like since the inception, bro. Like let's say like before maybe when they started putting gloves and weight limits, like weight classes and stuff like that together.
yeah. Well, even man, sometimes even the weight classes were like fucked up. Like I went to a town in Maryborough. It's like Maryborough, is that what it's called? Like in
Maryborough,
Queensland.
yeah, 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 in Queensland.
Yeah, and I thought this guy was his nickname was the Samoan Psycho.
Oh Jesus.
And I was like 70 kilos away. That guy was like easily like, 84, maybe 90, struggling to make weight for like whatever. And the he didn't weigh in, and the promoter wouldn't tell me his real weight. And it was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like, oh well, because it was an amateur fight. So he's like, I'll pay you $300, and I was like, fuck yeah, deal, bro. You gotta pay me $300 to fight someone occasion. I don't give a fuck. And at the time, I didn't give a fuck how big they were. I
yeah,
was
for real.
like, $300, man, that's fucking good. Like, that's a night's work for me. So working on the door. So, like I'd take that in a second.
Hundred
And
percent, bro. Like that's a nice little payday, especially for an amateur fighter as well. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but it's crazy, bro. Like, but how did you like come to get into the world of pro wrestling from MMA and stuff like that? Was wrestling always the thing that you wanted to sort of pursue?
yeah, always. Like I don't even think I took MMA as serious, or boxing, or freestyle wrestling, or jiu-jitsu, any of that. I ever took it as
Yeah,
serious as how I took wrestling. Like I wanted to do it all my life since I was like 5. So I was just like, I wanted to be a wrestler all my life. So as soon as I found a pathway into it, I met a guy at XFC gym in Melbourne. I think you've seen.
XFC, that sounds familiar.
They've got an organization, XFC, but then they've got a gym as well. It's not connected, but
Yeah,
it's
right. That's probably where I've heard from the promotion, I think.
yeah, extreme MMA. No, it's called Extreme MMA.
Ex MMA, that's right. Yes. I've heard of them.
So there was a guy working there behind the desk, Chris Trio, and he wrestled for PCW. And he told me he was a pro wrestler, and I was like, no, what the fuck? I was
Is
like,
he related to Tommy?
no, he's a Greek dude.
That's a joke. That's all good.
I don't know, man. What'd you say?
I said he's related to. He said he was Chris Trigger. I said he's related to Tommy.
No, Chris Trio.
Oh, Trino. Sorry, my bad.
Trio, like
Trio.
TR.
Sorry.
Yeah, like not a lot of people heard of him, but like when I watch his stuff, he's really good. He's got like a freestyle wrestling gimmick. Works at MMA gym, teaches jujitsu now. He's a purple belt, but yeah, he was like, you should do it because you just got to look. So you should do it. And I was training for a fight over in Perth. And I flew over to Perth and had the fight. And then after the fight, I just fucking retired. Like I just was like, I don't want to. I can get punched in the face for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah.
And you know, it takes its toll on you. And then, or I can just like lift weights, do some like aerobic shit, like do some wrestling training, like rolls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My body can handle that. I don't think it could take any more blows. It blows any more to the head. Like it just wasn't good for me. I guess I just had to be my kids. But when I think about that, I have some fucking moments in pro wrestling where I'm like, Jesus, it's like, I'm like, how did I not die? Like I should have died. Like I got pushed off the top rope at DMDU.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went backwards. The guy pushed me, and then went on to tell everyone I was a dangerous worker.
Who was the guy? Who was the guy you were working? Who did it? Who said that shit?
Oh,
York.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, man. That guy's a fucking bro. Like, come on. Is anyone gonna listen to that bitch, bro?
Oh yeah, no one's gonna. He's cancelled. But the thing is, I worked this guy twice. Right, the first time he goes, "Can you do a Frankensteiner?" I could do a runner, so I was like, I must be able to do a Frankensteiner. So we get up there, and I think I did something wrong, but he could have pushed me towards the ring. So he pushes me this way, and I go backwards off the top rope, bang, flat back, just straight on the concrete or whatever it is. At the venue, there's no padding there, and it was a big bump.
Yeah.
And I still got up and finished the rest of the match. Fuck it. I still got in there, and I didn't know where I was at one point. There was one point where we were down and there was Lego everywhere, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, you didn't even know where you were, like you were that out of it. Like,
yeah, I was like, fucking, it's crazy, man. It's like another dimension.
That's some dangerous shit, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're mentally not there. Like, bro, it's funny. The interview that I just dropped this past Thursday,
Julio,
yeah, and he told a story about like how he knocked out this guy like accident. You know what I mean? Like Julio Garcia is a great dude, very
I've worked with twice.
Yeah, he mentioned you as well. Like, but he's got a heart of gold, and he mentioned like knocking this this guy out, and the guy like didn't know who he was, where he was, didn't even know he was a wrestler. And bro, like how fucking scary is that shit that you're in the ring with someone who's that out of it, that doesn't even know they're in a wrestling match. And even then they could be that fucked up that they don't even know that they're a wrestler, and they would just go into that fight or flight mode. And then like, bro, that's at that stage, you just got to go, fuck, all bets are off. Like this match is done. You got to haul ass.
Yeah, you just got to hit a roll up or something and shoot in them. You know what I mean? Just get it over. I guess if it's at that point, and you think they're injured and they land on their neck or something like that, then you definitely have to you have to call it right there, even exit, whatever,
Yeah,
do whatever.
yeah,
You can't continue at all, even if they kick out, you have to keep going. But you know, this is this that's the thing. So that guy's gimmick was that he was a dangerous worker. It was literally his fucking gimmick.
that's
And he walks
fucked.
around telling everyone. And the second time I work him with his finisher, it's like a power bomb into a pull through knee.
Oh
And
Jesus, fuck.
he knees me straight in the fucking jaw and knocks me the fuck out. And
That's not a gimmick, brother. That's a fucking shoot.
that's
That's a fucking shoot. He
and
just is
look,
a dangerous worker. Is this your? That's his gimmick. He was a shit worker?
yeah, no, he was a dangerous worker. Like he just on purposely was recklessly fuck people up. That was how they were pushing it. That's how I
Oh,
felt,
that's
man.
just fucking.
That's how I felt they were pushing him. I'm
That's
not.
just fucking.
That's how I felt it. They were like the commentary behind every time he did stuff. When I worked him the second time, he hears that I'm a match planner apparently, so he doesn't rock up. He waits until first bell, and we're the third match, and he rocks up, and he's like, and I like plan the whole match because he's not there in my head. Go over my ring position in the ring, and
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
telling this is how we're gonna do it. That's just what I have to do. Guido told me that's what I have to do. He said, that's what you have to do. He said, because, obviously Guido's a veteran. He's worked for a long
Yeah.
time. So, I thought, well, he's right. You know what I mean? The guy gets there and I tell him that this is what we're going to do. And he's like, I don't like that. Joel said he wants this, that, wants a house fight, wants this and that. And I was like, okay. So we had to plan the whole match. And we had
Yeah, man. Like,
So I actually, yeah, it's just he on purposely tried to sabotage my shit. You know what I mean? And then after both incidents, I didn't get booked by DMDU again. You know what I mean?
how did
It's
you
been,
look, bro? Like, let me ask you this, bro, because I've asked quite a few people about DMDU, and I've been told by a lot of people off air that no one really wants to come and say this shit, bro. But you seem like you're the kind of guy that doesn't really give a fuck. Let me ask you, bro. Like, what is the deal with DMDU? Because like a lot of people tell me shit, but they tell me shit, like I said, not on a podcast, and they tell me they don't want it repeated, so I don't say it. But like, what the fuck is the deal? Like, how did you find DMDU there? Like, what was the issues that you saw there? Like, is it as bad as what I'm hearing?
man, honestly, like the DMDU that is now, I wouldn't know two shits about. I've never been to one of their shows. I'm actually like, believe it or not, I'm actually like a really shy human being. And I keep to myself. I don't talk to anyone. We'll walk through the street. I don't even make eye contact with people, let alone go to shows. I hardly, unless I'm working. I'm very go to the gym, eat. That's my life. Work, eat, go to the gym. That's it. That's my life. Um, so I don't go to their. I haven't been to their new shows. But I will say, when I first went to their show down in Melbourne. I think it was one of their first arena shows. I
Mm.
thought that it was the coolest thing I ever seen because they had like the atmosphere was very punk as fuck, and it was very like rebellious, and it had this like real like kind of like a classic ECW sort of vibe to it. The roster was good. We had Gore, Mad Dog, we had fucking we had a lot of the big guys as well. They're bringing them over, like Michael Weaver and stuff like that from Adelaide, and they were having big like they didn't have death matches all the way through, so it happened towards the end, and they were big on one thing. They're like the clothesline. If you throw a fucking clothesline, that better be a 3 count or a close to. Like they were to really sell it. Like you had to sign a contract that said that if you fucking you wear one and you kick out at one, you know what I mean? That you disrespected the move. It's like I don't know, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. When I read that, I thought, well, they want like hard style, like strong style, like
Yeah.
matches, and I really liked it, man. I was a big fan. And then Melbourne went into a lockdown, and I left. I went because Melbourne went into a big lockdown, and I said I want to wrestle because I got myself back into shape. I had retired before that, and
Yeah.
then when I realized why am I retiring, I haven't done shit. So I was like, that's dumb. Like, why would I do that? Well, I haven't done shit. I haven't. I wrestled. I wrestled in Townsville until I was like worn out.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Townsville was a harsh part of the world. It's very hot there, like for starters.
100%, bro. Yeah. The
Yeah,
humidity is a motherfucker up there, bro. It's one of the hottest places in Australia for sure.
those wrestlers are fit up there, man. They're
Oh,
fit.
bro.
You'd be
Gas
like,
these. But
oh man,
what? But let me ask you this, bro. Why is it that you didn't get booked from DMD after those shows? Do you think it was because York was sort of in the ear of the promoter, or what was the go?
I have no idea. I hit Joel up a number of times. Joel is no. I've asked always. You know, Joel sort of one thing about Joel, he did introduce me to Japanese wrestling. Before that, I was more into. I thought nothing's better than American wrestling, and then Joel was like, "Watch this. Stop doing Hogan punches. Do forearms, chops, yeah, and knees. You know what I mean? Just headbutts. Just back elbows. Don't do fucking Hogan punches and shit like that. It doesn't work for you." And
Yeah,
like, so I took that on board. Anyone that's been wrestling longer than me is going to tell me something's going to help me with my striking or
sure.
my movement. So I appreciated that. That he doesn't book me, bro. He really, and I think I'm over with the deathmatch crowd. And I hate like wrestlers shouldn't say that, but like if you watch my death matches, they're like some. I think they're some of the most sickest death matches that have happened in Australia. Like the one with Guido is something out of a horror movie. Literally, people tell me it's hard to watch, and I love hearing that. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And that really pisses you off. But like, I look at it from an artist point of view. If I can offend someone without being like prejudiced or sexist or racist, or it's hard these days to offend people without all that stuff because that's all they get offended by.
But bro, this shit that like the deathmatch stuff that you guys do doesn't offend me. What if like nothing of it really offends me, bro? The thing is that like my problem with it is, and I've said this before, a lot of deathmatch wrestling that I see now worldwide sucks. It's not good. I don't think there's many people in the deathmatch scene that are actually good workers by the exception of a small handful. And to
So how
say
about
that,
matchup?
but to say that a match makes people feel uncomfortable because of the blood and guts to it, bro, like
It's
shit,
not
man.
pro
Like,
wrestling. It's different to
look,
pro wrestling.
look. It's not my place to judge whether it's pro wrestling or not, but like to
But
me,
it
bro,
is.
I see that shit, and it's just like I'd rather
I,
see someone be able to tell a story than instead see people
well,
like,
that's the thing. That's
yeah,
what you've got to do. Is you've got to tell a story with it. Like you using the weapons is like your heat. Using the weapons as your cutoff. All that stuff. It's all psychology and like the way you tell it, especially when you can't bump. If you've got because like keep in mind, I've never worked a deathmatch show that's advertised as professional wrestling. So I
yeah,
understand if it's advertised as pro wrestling and it's death matched, and that's fucked up because that could be a problem for pro wrestling when they're trying to get like bookings and stuff. And, oh, we don't do that stuff. It's really violent, because they see that, and I totally get that, and I respect professional wrestling, so I will agree with people like that. And it is a different thing, but at the same time, pro wrestling isn't like real wrestling either. You know what I mean?
100%, bro. Like
It's
it's all a work, bro. I
yeah,
get that,
good way.
but
This
but
is
I
the
feel
kind of
like,
way. I think
but
it should be more based on character. I think if you do deathmatch, it's not based on it's based on character. this is a storytelling with character, and like you can do like like you can put all kinds of. One of my favorite matches was with Zero because our characters just bounced off each other. You know what I mean? Like our gimmicks actually, because we're both face paint
Sure.
weirdos. That's our gimmick. So I felt like it just naturally that we did a lot of stuff character wise just on the fly. Like there
Yeah.
was like there was no planning of some stuff. It was like one thing that really bugged me is the ref did a gimmick, the dice. So when he rolled six, it actually he actually called six. So I had to get like six staples or something, like tell a
Jesus.
story this way, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when they just come out and smash light tubes on each other. And Crackerjack, like I messaged Crackerjack just when I was like a mark, first getting into pro wrestling, to training pro wrestling, and I messaged him. I don't know if I've asked him about this in person. He doesn't remember, but he told me don't be another guy in jeans rolling around in thumbtacks. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
that's that's lame. So I don't know, like when I see there's no characters in Deathmatch, and then like I do a character, so some people are interested in booking that, and it's over with the fans of
Sure.
Deathmatch.
Sure.
But
Sure.
but Joel refuses to book me. And actually, I met another booker of the show at the show I was just at, and we were
Yeah.
talking. And I said, well, I'd love to come over and work. I get a lot of messages from people saying they'd love to see me versus Gore there, or Samson, or and I would love to do it, man. And you know what? I'd do it. But in the same aspect, and like, yeah, it's a little bit, sometimes a little bit like, it's not the end of the world someone doesn't book you, but it's like
Oh,
that's my crown. You know what I
it's
mean?
it's definitely not, bro. But like, do you really feel like Deathmatch Down Under for you is the place where you want to get booked? Like, do you feel like that's the be all and end all for you? Like,
No,
yeah, I mean, like I've heard you're not too like fond of like you're not really that keen to go and want to deal with them.
no.
But like, I don't know
You
if
know what
that's
I
true or
love?
not. Like, that's what the rumor that I've heard. Like,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I'm not that keen anymore. I was keen, and now I'm like, you know what? But at the same time, man, guys on the show are still good. Like, they're still good, and they're still pulling. They're doing hard, and it's still a show. So good on them. You know what I mean? That's the thing. People will hold grudges against me for like ages, man. Every time I go to Brisbane and wrestle, it's the weirdest vibe in the locker room, bro. It's the weirdest vibe. You know what I
why,
mean?
why, why is that? Why do they have a grudge against you when you go back to Brisbane? What's the
Oh,
beef there?
man. It was like weird. I went to Brisbane. I trained in Perth for like I think it was like 12 months, and then I
Yeah,
did a training camp with a school. Like you do a match, but you've got to do a training camp because we want to make sure you're up to scratch. You know what I mean? And you're a rookie, so you know what I mean. You've got to do like a full like couple months there. You know what I mean before they'll give you
yeah,
a match. It's fair. It's going through the some people wait longer, but I guess they have a look, so they kind of like the look, so they'll push it. But I've been through that process with several schools. So when people are like, oh, you're not a trained wrestler or whatever, it's like I am. That process of getting trained and then booked, I've gone through that at least 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? So
yeah. But you were trained by George Julio, right?
I've trained with him. I've gone through, as I said, I went through the, like I went through the process of like training with enough to get booked. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And he was like, all right. And then every now and again, go in and train, sort of thing. And then it's the same sort of, QWA was different. QWA was like, you have to train all the training sessions to be able to work, which was pretty good. Bit of a boot in the ass.
yeah. So basically, every time you've gone and changed somewhere, you've gone and had to train with them. So you basically had the availability to go and train with multiple different places and people.
Yeah, when I'm just traveling, I'll go. Actually, when I trained at George's, it was just me and two other wrestlers that we would go in, and George sits down and he puts us through. Like George is very old school, man. He's like, you have a match now. You know, you know what I mean? Like put you
Yeah.
under the gun. You know what I mean? Because if you can't do that, you're not a wrestler. You know what I mean? Even if it's not that great. as long as you can do that, if you could just like lock up and work into like just a basic international, then that, you know, and then work some heat and cut off and, you know, do all that stuff, and he can see it. It doesn't matter if you're doing a lot, you're just doing it. You know what I mean? He's like, no, you're a wrestler, you're a worker. You know what I mean? And then he gives you advice on stuff, and he knows how to make things look stiff that aren't like stiff. Like he's very
Yeah.
good at. You know, that's what he specialized in. And he once said to me, he said, everybody asks me what my fucking finisher is. I said, my finisher is I hit you with a fucking chair.
Yeah, because you ain't getting up after that. We're
Yeah,
done after that, bro. It's
right.
it's it's crazy, man. Like, you know, like the world of pro wrestling, man. Like the guys like George Julio, you know, Ken Dunlop, and a few others, man. Like the world of wrestling has completely changed to what it is today, man.
Oh man. Oh man. Back to the you asked me about Brisbane, why they don't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
me.
yeah. Like, what's the beef in Brisbane?
I'm so I'm so medicated that it's gone into the other direction.
Hey
So
man. Hey, I'm wearing sunglasses tonight because I've got like really bad hay fever and I look like I've done like 5 rounds with Tyson. So, you know,
glaucoma.
I know there's gonna be a few people watching going, look at Piers, he's like gone all fucking Hollywood.
Yeah, glaucoma, mate. I just played with glaucoma.
Yeah.
But I did that. I rocked up to Brisbane, and I was like I'd had 2 matches. I was pretty green, so I just trained under Mana and then Andrew Carter in WA, and
Yeah, yeah,
and then I said I was green. I said I'm probably shit. You know what I mean? I probably need a lot of work. And the
yeah,
guy was like, "Oh no, I like the fucking look of you. You've got gear. Wrestle tonight." And I was like, okay, sweet. So got geared up, you know, ready
yeah,
to go. They cancelled the match because the sound guy's in the match, and he, it's, it's some shit, you know. So then the match got cancelled, and the guy said, "I owe you because you stuck around and you did ring crew and you didn't get your match." He's like, "I'll give you any match you want," and I was like, "I'll take the hardcore." Guy, you know what I mean, to a hardcore
yeah,
match.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So we started a feud with him, and then like I was just real green, bro. You know what I mean? It was,
Mm,
you know, and I made some rookie mistakes, I guess. It wasn't
yeah,
until I moved to North Queensland I could wrestle on a regular basis, like twice a month, for like a year and just over a year and a half or whatever, and get the experience in front of big crowds and develop his character,
yeah,
develop everything. I pretty much my whole direction of the way I look. I tried different looks. I tried different things. It was just like that kind of environment because the guy with Booker was just like, just do whatever, you know what I mean? It wasn't really important.
yeah,
So
yeah. Nothing
trying
really
to,
giving you like for you to sink your teeth in, like heavy duty. You know what I mean? Like, but like, what sort of gimmicks were you doing besides like to leading into it? Because it's like I really feel like the Zuzu gimmick really like suits you so well. You know what I mean? But like, what other gimmicks were you doing?
I started with like I wanted to be a cross between in that movie Undisputed, Boyka in
Yeah,
the movie
right. Yeah,
Undisputed, the Russian guy.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I wanted to be a cross between. It was like a cross between him, fucking Dracula, and fucking Duke Nukem, and I was going to be called Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad. But is you know what? There's a wrestler now over in the States called someone the Impaler, isn't it? Like Frida the Impaler. Like, is it? She's a like.
Something like that. I did see that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
It was
cool. Like, yeah. So it's kind of like almost like a Viking style gimmick, right?
no, it was more like a. It looked more like a sort of like a gangster gimmick. Like I
Yeah.
had like a vampire gangster. It was.
The
For a while
vampire gangster was like,
when I had
I'm just
legs.
I'm just imagining some what was that vampire movie back in the day that they used to do, like the kids always used to go crazy for?
Oh,
What was it?
oh,
What was the vampire movie, that gimmick? There was that franchise, and they had the werewolf and they had the Edward.
oh yeah,
Huh?
I get you.
Twilight. Twilight. My producers just told us it was Twilight. And I was like,
Yeah,
I just imagine like Edward being a gangster and just like rocking up, just like going, yeah, like I roll him deep with my
yeah.
vampires. Where my
That,
vamps at, dog.
that was the thing too. I had no life experience of
Yeah.
being fucking like a vampire gangster, right? So like I
Well,
remember
not many
the
people would have
experience.
experience of being that, dude. Like,
I remember the experience of being a fucking clown. I've been a clown all my life, so it was like fucking sweet, you know. So it was like it's an easy gimmick for me. But I gotta lie, I did get some inspiration off the killer clown from I think it's called Carnival of Souls or
yeah,
horror.
right.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this like killer clown in it that's a pro wrestler, and
Oh,
he just
that's dope.
similar look, but wears a mask. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get some pajama pants, tuck them into my boot,
Like,
bang, there we
let
go.
so let me ask you this, man. We'll go back a bit. You say about not getting booked anymore in Melbourne in that company. Do you think that you not getting booked is also a bit of a click issue and people being protective of their spots? Like, do you feel like they see you as a potential threat?
Yeah, of course. But also, I'm not 100% sure, but it's really just odd. I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah,
to take it because, like, you know, and they're not the only ones, man. You know, like I inbox every company in Australia. That's what I do. Like, and every now and again, when I haven't heard from them, I inbox them again. And I don't hear from them. Some of them it doesn't bother me. I couldn't care. Someone's gonna book me. You know, I'm just waiting till someone does. You know, and then I'll be happy. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't really bother me. But they're the one that sting the most a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like I have fans that go to their show. I have fans that would like to see me perform there, and it does suck for that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But other than that, I work with VPW, and I couldn't be happier, man.
yeah.
Gabriel Wolf is I don't know. You know Gabriel Wolf?
No, I've never met him.
Great guy, man. Real
Yeah,
vet. You know what? I was gonna pull out. I was gonna pull out because I was like, you know what? I don't know if I could even afford to go to Melbourne and get back. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this. Like, I was gonna pull out, but it was a chance to work with him. So I was like, he's wrestled Ken Shamrock. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I was like, I'm gonna have a match with this guy. And apparently
100%.
Ken had like a fucking stellar match. So it's like I didn't turn him down, but a lot of people did. And we had 3 shows run on one night. Politics,
Yeah,
probably trying to carry him. You know what I mean? But 3 shows running one night, an MCW show. So that's man, fuck. There's most of your fans from Melbourne. You know what I mean? And there was like a death match one as well. So, and we had the first match of the night, Gore and Mad Dog. You can't top that. You can never
no,
top
exactly. Well,
that.
that's the opening night. That's kind of like you got Gore and Mad Dog, two of the best, in
Yeah.
Australian wrestling, and you got to go on top it. But like, let me ask you this: the whole deathmatch thing. You seem to be a big fan of it, bro. And look, I'm going to be honest. Like, and I've told you this, and when I first met you, bro, and we first had a conversation, the first time I saw you work was actually at a Mexican restaurant out in Penrith, and you wrestled these couple of kids, and I was standing next to the promoter, and I remember watching your match, and I was ring announcing the show, and the promoter said to me, and this is the first time I've ever met, and I'm not trying to bury you and saying this, but he goes, do you think this match is too much? And I said, brother, I think this match has gone about 15 minutes too long. And they said, it's only gone 10. I go, exactly. I go, these guys are not wrestling for themselves. They're wrestling for themselves. They're not wrestling for the audience. This is bullshit. I would have fucking ended it. And then, and I told you that when I first had a conversation with you. I was like, hey, bro, I got to be honest. This is what I said. I don't want to be the sort of guy that you hear that I said this behind your back. I'm telling you, I said this shit because that's kind of who I am, bro. But to be honest, since then, I've seen you work, and the person that I feel like I've been able to see and interact with you, bro, has definitely surpassed that first reaction of that first scene. I've seen you have some pretty decent matches. I feel like the match that you had against Morgan Rose at Kingdom when me and Vinny and Banks came down there for that show. I feel like that was a really great match. That was a main event level indie match, and it was really good. You know what I mean? And I'm, well, bro, I was just glad that I was able to sort of step past that first meeting point and sort of thing, because usually when I see that, I'm just like, yeah, fuck that, bro. I'm done. Don't show me anymore.
Okay.
That's my reaction to it. But I was like, you know what, I want to see this.
Huh? I definitely get where you come from with that. That match. It was all over the place. We there were two young fellas, but you know what, they were. I mean, they were hanging in there, man, and they were giving their best shot. But I think honestly I was halfway through it, and I felt it as a pro, you know what I mean? You feel certain things through experience, and you feel okay, we're losing this one, you know what I mean? And we've got to take it home. And then we actually cut it short. It was meant to go longer, and I was we're cutting this one short. I called it in there. And then someone took the kid wanted to take fire. It was safe. It was a Mexican themed fire, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but bro, it's a kid show. You know what I mean? The majority, from my point of view, where I was coming from, bro, whereas you're wrestling in front of fucking 10-year-olds, bro, and you're doing Lego spots and chair shots.
You know what?
But stiff chair shots to the head, the fire spots. I don't know. I felt like it was a bit much for a kid show, bro. Bro. I thought you were one step away from pulling out a fucking weed whacker at one stage.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah, right.
No, really, that's never my goal. You know what? I probably made that mistake. I have made that mistake before. I have worked a show that was advertised as a fucking adult show, yet they let underage people in. And this annoyed the shit out of me, because when I went to go do my match, the people were there. So it's like, what the fuck? And the other guys didn't come out and seen it yet. So he's going to be like, what the fuck? There's fucking kids in the front row. What the fuck? Can't use cheese grater now. You know what I mean? It was really fucked. We actually had the referee get rid of the underage looking people. Because it was just we could take the kids out, you know what I mean? Because we're using screwdrivers and shit. What the fuck? It was dumb. But it was a total miscommunication, you know. And these things, they will happen when you're a rookie or whatever. But now, no. You know what I mean? But Lego's not that bad, man. You know, teaches the kids, don't leave your Lego around. It fucking hurt.
Come off. Yeah, but also, bro, it also teaches kids, hey, how about I grab my brother or sister by the throat, pick him up and choke slam him on a fucking Lego train set. You know what I mean? I don't look, bro. Look, to me, honestly, I don't think that level of style I feel was probably a little bit too much.
How about this? How about hardcore attitude era, fucking Bradshaw versus Jeff Hardy? You got a fucking bin, you got a ladder, you got a table, and you got a chair. That's it.
Yeah, but you know, even back then, those two guys would have beaten the shit out of each other and concussed the fuck out of each other. Again, I don't know, maybe it's just me, bro. Maybe I see people taking hard chair shots to the head, and I just have that thing in me going, nah, man, that shit doesn't feel right, bro. Like that doesn't sit well with me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe it's a me thing, and I'm using the kids as an excuse.
Well, you know what I mean. If the person's taking liberties, if the person's taking liberties on the other person, then that's fucked. What's wrong with their ego? Why do
Oh,
they
100%.
need to pretend fight to hurt people? You know what I mean? But like if it's in this, I feel like if I get hit snug, I got knocked out. I didn't say shit. I went backstage. I shook everyone's hand. I said, "Good match." You know what I mean? Like, but that's just
Yeah,
me. I understand if guys protecting their, concussion. But honestly, a concussion is not like foreign to me. I've had a concussion most of my fucking life. So like, it's if I get a concussion during a match, it doesn't bother me. But this is where the whole tough doesn't exist in pro wrestling is bullshit. Is just pure bullshit. You can't compare Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because I'm sorry, it's not the toughest of fucking martial arts anyway. Like they can beat everyone up. Obviously, they're good. I did jujitsu myself, like purple belt. Loved it. Did it every day for like fucking 12 years. But you
yeah,
know what? You go into a Muay Thai gym, you're gonna find tough people. You go into a
100%.
jiu-jitsu gym, you're gonna find like corporates that want to keep fit and they're doing jiu-jitsu, but they're good. They can fucking beat you up. They use skill, balance, and timing, which they gain through training their technique.
Timing and yeah, patience.
Yeah, but they're not tough. You know what I mean? Like they're like tough is like Muay Thai or boxing. You know what I mean? Like they're
Well,
punching
well,
each
that
other in the fucking
well,
head.
that's why like you hear what Mark Hunt used to say.
What?
Mark Hunt used to say he's like everyone's a black belt till you punch them in the face, then they become a white belt real fucking quick.
You know, I don't get it. Because I told you the story was streamer with
Yeah,
the joke. I could have tapped, and I wanted to tap because I was going out. But I
yeah,
could shoot as well. But if I shoot, it's going to look messy. I can't tap because I'm going to win. So I'm in jiu-jitsu and I'm rolling, and guy gets me in a choke like that, there's no use me wasting my fucking energy and fucking fighting that for a long time. If it's on tight, I've got to go another fucking 7 rounds. So whatever tap, it means nothing. You can't end in competition, even if you're overwhelmed by experience. Maybe
yeah,
some people are overwhelmed, and that's easy to do as a human in there, so
100%.
they tap. You can do that. You can't do that in pro wrestling. If you're going over and you tap, you're gonna be forever a bitch. You know what I mean? You're gonna be the guy that tapped out.
Well,
Fucking
remember that Daniel Pewter and Kurt Angle bullshit that happened? Like, fuck, that was what in the
yeah,
early 2000s, and the guy Daniel Pewter put Angle in a legit Kimura, and like basically the referee was smart enough to go down and do a quick 3 count when Angle was on top of him. But it's like
yeah.
Angle was what the world champ or the WWF champ or E champ or whatever the fuck it was called back then. But like that's the level of like, dude, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's the wrestling business as well. Like on that level, like imagine if that Daniel Pewter kid had Kurt Angle, one of like the shooter Kurt Angle, you know what I mean? The hooker Kurt Angle tap out on national television. That would have
Yeah.
made like, bro.
Well, that would have been over the top. And you know what? The beating that he would have probably got from like Bradshaw and fucking everyone else. You know what I mean?
Taker and yeah, he would have got his ass
Everyone,
whooped, bro.
they would kick the fuck out of him in the elevator or something, Like, oh man, it puts you in a hard position. So like that's where I had to use some kind of toughness to keep going because I was gonna throw up in my mouth and this motherfucker, he was so strong, bro. Like I don't know what that guy is strong, bro. That David Streamer guy, he's fucking strong, bro.
Yeah.
He's really strong, man. Like fuck. Like I think I accidentally headbutted him. I'm not sure. I feel bad.
you,
Like,
you were
he
knocked
was
out too hard from it.
no, because I went to the stage dive, right? And he was too
Yeah.
far out. So he tried to catch me from far out and he leant into it and he copped a headbutt. So, I'm
Oh,
just blind, so I can't, like, you know, like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, it just sort of like went down that way. But man, he worked nice and snug, and he was go,
Yeah.
go, go. He didn't want to fucking, he doesn't like pauses, he doesn't like silence. He likes fucking keep going. Like, thoroughly enjoyed the match. I heard the guy didn't want to work me when he first found out he was working me.
Really?
Yeah, he told the booker. He basically said, "I've seen the guy's work. I'm not a fan." And then when I rocked up on the day, because the booker was like, "No, fuck you. He's my friend as well. So fuck you, disrespecting him. You're gonna work him." And he just told me, just go out there and go, go, go. And when I met the guy, he was super nice, super polite, bro. I think he changed his mind. I think when he seen me and seen that, he probably realized the footage that he watched was from, like, years ago, like 6 years ago or something, or 4 years ago, where, like, people obviously get better at their craft and
Yeah.
stuff. So, I think he changed his mind after that. And I hope after the match, he said he enjoyed the match, that he changed his mind, because that was my goal. I was like, I'll make this motherfucker love that he worked with me.
100%, bro. Yeah, like almost like trying to get them to change their mindset on it, bro.
Yeah.
But how like have you ever have you had that happen before, bro, where like people have refused to work you? Because you know how the business can be, bro. The business can be a fucking toxic fucking place. Like, have you had to deal with that kind of nonsense before?
I had to deal with it recently.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we were talking about that person. So they no showed my match. Basically, pulled out. They were
They
in
were
a
supposed to work you, right?
Yeah, and it would have been a good match. It would have been worth me going all the way that I went to go and do this match. Like, I mean, it's country Victoria, and I live in Sydney. I live close to the city, so that's quite a hike for someone who doesn't drive.
Yeah,
So
for real, bro. Jesus.
I had to
The
hike up.
ultimate nomad, man, just fucking hitchhiking all the way from Sydney to Melbourne, baby. Fuck.
No, I
There's no
gotta,
wrestling match, dude.
no, I gotta fly. I'm civil.
Oh, you gotta. Oh, damn it, bro! If you hitchhike, bro, that would have been the
If I
ultimate
did
nomad
drive,
type shit. I would have been
I don't
impressed.
think anyone would stop for me, brother. Like, and if they did, they'd probably be fucked up. It would be
Hey,
like,
man, well, the fucking skull tattoo on the face, bro, that's like some scary ass shit. You're not going to see like a family of five pulling over going, let's give
oh,
this gentleman a lift, shall we, Karen?
yeah, just what a fine gentleman. Like, like, he's gonna keep driving. But yeah, I got a lift from another wrestler from the airport in Melbourne
Yeah, yeah,
down to Mildura it was. And I was really disappointed that the other person was out. They replaced him with a guy who I was really happy to work with.
yeah,
Big fan, actually. Guy's good. That's the thing. If you feel like something happened and there's like a slight bit of heat, that
yeah,
person's ability doesn't fucking change. If they're a fucking good worker, they're a good worker, and that doesn't change. Like, if I dislike somebody, like, because I wouldn't say dislike, but just say they did something that I felt like was like a knife in the back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to suddenly discourage, discount their ability. You
No,
know?
well, that's the thing. I mean, like being an asshole doesn't mean you're a bad wrestler, but also being a good wrestler doesn't mean you're a good person.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? There could be a good person, and just a strange incident, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you get in the moment sometimes with these death matches, man, and I can tell you they're crazy. I remember when I worked Weeds, we had this spot at the start where we were battling out light tubes, and because we broke into a brawl, and he cuts me like here, and
Yeah.
I swear this hits a main artery, because blood is just like a tap, like someone's
Fuck.
me. And I think to myself, I'm gonna fucking die. You know what I mean? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna bleed to death right
But
here.
is that what? But is that worth it to you to sit there and like see that much blood pissing out of your head, going like I'm gonna
That's
die?
my
Like
experience.
fuck yeah, I'm hardcore. I'm hardcore. Like Is
No,
there a
no, it's not about that.
fear factor there?
It's not about that though. For me, it's like when I'm in that moment, it's like it puts you in like a third dimension. Like I was so tired, I hadn't slept for like maybe 29 hours because I could
Yeah,
never sleep the night before a match because I know I've got to get like flights and stuff and I don't want to be late. And the anxiety keeps me awake. So then I
yeah,
got a bus early in the morning and the bus took 14 hours or whatever to get to Melbourne. It took quite a long time, and I was very tired. I hadn't slept, and I went straight to the gym. They did a workout, and then I went to Guido's, and we went through all the weapons, everything that I brought because I got it all sent to his place. Because obviously you
yeah.
can't fly stuff.
Of
You can't
course, yeah, 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 yeah.
fly the Stanley knife and needles and shit. So we got it all together, and I still haven't slept. And then we get to the venue, and I think maybe I'll just have a little sleep in the car or something like that. And
Yeah.
I don't. I just stay awake because now the adrenaline, because everything we're doing in this match is pretty like I'm fucking terrified of fucking needles, and there's needles in the match. You know what I mean?
Then why
And
don't you say fuck no? I don't want to do the fucking needles.
it's
No,
my
no,
idea.
thank you. Huh?
It's my idea.
But you don't like fucking needles, dog. Like, come on, bro. Like,
You just, you just gotta bite down on your mouth guard sometimes and just go. You know what I mean? And I still haven't, and then this happens, and I think I'm bleeding to death. I'm gonna die. I'm in another dimension. He had a DDT through a door, back up,
yeah.
fucking. There's a back and forth. We get to the part where we're sitting there, and there's a guy in a Squid Games costume holding a silver tray just full of weapons, and they're all
Oh,
white.
shit.
And it's like a Stanley knife, an egg beater, fucking all this shit. It's all white, so you just see the blood everywhere. And it was like the most gruesome, most fucked up shit. It's like watching a snuff movie. Like even with the staple gun, when we went back and forth with each other, it's
Yeah.
like I started putting on the cheeks, on the side of the face, and there was a part where he ripped them off. Like it was just like so dark. And like I'm a big horror fan, so that's exactly how I wanted it to look. And I wanted it to tell some kind of story, like we were doing some kind of Squid Games or some shit like that. We worked that into the match, and like the characters. And man, most of the time, me and Guides, we go way back, so we just sit back and like just shoot the shit all the time. And like it's basically like a death match anyway, just like
Yeah,
verbal.
yeah.
It's like
That,
it's
that
so
that that's some crazy shit, bro. But like, let's head back. So you said you had this wrestler recently refuse to work with you. Like, what was the reason behind that they gave you for that?
the wrestler that refused to work with me. Well, they didn't show up. I don't know if
So they no showed the show.
they no showed the show. So I was just like gutted because I was thinking in my head, this is a good way for me to get like to like work something maybe into their show because that other show I was working is like a sister show to DMDU, but it's all death match, but it has like 4 matches. The rest of
Sure,
it,
sure.
it's all bands. It's like death metal bands, and it's really cool atmosphere. It's like being on a mosh pit, like
Yeah.
like having a match in a mosh pit. It's really fun. Um, and yeah, I was really looking forward to that. It was going to make me #1 contender. So originally I was meant to go over, apparently, and then all of a sudden, uh, someone else backed out of the match, and
Yeah.
then that got replaced by someone else. And then at the last minute, when I was about to fly, like a day before,
Yeah.
that other person dropped out. And then I went on to still win. I got told I wasn't winning, and I was like, I don't care. I get to death match, and there's going to be a crowd. That's a bonus,
It's
So
pro wrestling. Wins and losses don't matter in pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like it.
yeah, but they're good show. I want to work them again, but I ended up just telling them that things are promised, and it's not honestly up to the promoter in every way. He can just do what he can do. The booker can do what he can do. If other
100%.
people have negative attitudes, And like as I said, like before I fell that kingdom, um, Morgan was the only decent worker that I was actually ever given. You know, and I don't mean to take anything from William. I think his name was William Williamson or something. He's a great work. He seemed really great worker, but
Yeah.
like you know, maybe it wasn't a good idea putting me with such a small guy. Um, you know, when I've been working big guys, so it was like
Yeah,
something.
100%. So the wrestler that no showed you. Sorry to keep going back to this because I find it interesting that a wrestler would take a booking and then no showing it. Like, did they ever
Well,
explain why they no showed that event?
yeah, a couple days before they said that they forgot to write it down. So okay, they called in a couple days before and said that they forgot to write it in or something like that. And I was just like, man, that is a real big shame because like, you know, and then someone talked some shit and told me that that they didn't show up because they were scared of me. And I don't believe that in a second, you know, not that I, you know, just I've never presented myself to this person as like I'm gonna be aggressive and belt you.
Sure, sure, sure.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't do it to this person. I wouldn't do it. It's just not nice. You know what I mean? And
Have you spoken to them since then? Like, have tried to put their mind at ease a little bit about the whole situation?
yeah, no, I didn't really even. I didn't even really fucking. You know what? After I just went out there and had my match, and you know, one of the guys was just another little guy. You know what I mean? And he's like complaining, and you know, I mean, like it's man. I don't know if you can if you. It's such a weird thing. Like it definitely should just be easy. I'm hoping Explicit comes back. Um, you know, back to that person, you know, if they ever change their mind, you know what I mean, and want to
Who
work
what?
with.
Who was it? Can you tell me who it was?
Well, we already talked about the person, like in the whole, you know,
Oh, we've already mentioned
whole,
them before.
yeah, and the whole group that they run, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, the Melbourne Tea Party. There we go. The Melbourne
You know
Tea
what? I
Party.
can't hear the words tea and party in a sentence ever again without popping at it. Like, honestly, it just fucking gets me. But
Melbourne. Imagine if Birdman went into Melbourne. Fuck, it would be funny, man.
oh, bro, like, fuck, I love Birdman so much. Like, he just makes me smile so much, dude. Like, honestly, he's like the greatest thing that's part of it. It's you know, it's crazy. But tell me, what about like you had a bit of a beef with Birdman at one stage, right?
Yeah.
I like how you just take a big puff out of that and be like, "Yeah."
Yeah, yeah,
Let's talk about the Birdman beef. What happened? Was it an online beef?
yeah. You know, you just get annoyed with seeing like your pictures all the time used on. You know what I mean? Like that's your property. You know what I mean? And people would be posting your picture like and like doing shit to it with fucking shit. Like you know, well, I don't know. It's probably good what he does. I don't know, but like just doing it just got annoying, bro. I don't know. I don't, you know, I just I don't want to win
Got
with this.
worked by Birdman?
He's alright. You know, he's an old man. I mean, what can you do, man? Like, what can you seriously do? Like, what can
Nothing,
you?
nothing, bro. Like the image is out there for public consumption. Like, but you know what? Like, what was the beef about? Was it just him just trying to like cause up a bit of controversy with you?
Man, I just said I couldn't work his show. I had some shit with my kid, and then he was just like made it public, and you know, it just made it crazy, man. You know, I don't know. It was just a thing, you know. And I was like, look, man, just like someone once told me, it's a springer show. Don't be on the couch. You know what I mean? And that's a fine example of it. It's like a fine example of going, you do you, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you doing you. You can
Yeah.
do you. Be yourself. But I don't want to. I don't want to play. That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Nothing.
yeah, yeah.
That's what
Like,
it goes.
unless you're part of the show and you're getting paid for that shit, like, there's no working angles here, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no, you know what I mean? You can't, the thing you should never do to is work into a shoot.
Yeah.
No, shoot into a work. Shoot into a work. That is so dumb And it's, I don't know, it's just like a thing that I wouldn't do, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna like talk shit and then actually like I've got like actual beef with someone, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then that's what it is. But I don't like talk shit and then meet them and go, okay, you work a forearm, I'll fucking
100%. Like if there's shit's been talked, then
that's,
like, bro, like we
you know
ain't
what I mean?
working, we're fighting.
Yeah, you're like, you know, and like Phil gets a pass because he's a fucking veteran, man. It don't look good. If you would even hit that guy and then you would go to court, the judge would throw a book at you, bro. You just hit like an old man, you know what I mean? That like come on, man. Like, come on. Like, I'm not,
Oh, the beef is gonna get started again, boy. You can't
he
call
just
him an
throws
old
shit
man, bro.
off, man.
Hey,
Honestly,
man.
I've got nothing against him, but I'm not gonna
I know.
ever attack that guy. He's got kids.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Like I just know if I was to lose the plot, what I'm
Yeah.
capable of, and I just don't want any part of it especially with an old bloke. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like, it's never going to look good. You know, even if when you get the upper hand, you don't get the upper hand in court, and then like you know, yeah, he's got kids and stuff. You know, you're not going to belt him. But like, it's a work, man. It's a work. It's a shoot into a work, and I just told him I don't do that. I don't
Yeah.
do into a work. You know what I mean? That's not my style. It's
Yeah.
not. It's
That's
not
fair
really.
enough. That's fair enough, bro. Because I feel like he's done that to a few people. But you know what? Like, as a booker, as a promoter, as someone who's trying to go out there, bro, like, I can appreciate what he's trying to do. Like, he's trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to blur the lines there in the business, which I think is like cool and understandable. But I get the frustration. I can get it. I understand it.
Yeah, and like that, and then that's the other thing too. I've got nothing against what he does, man. Like whatever he does, man, it's just whatever he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and like no, I don't feel any real heat. Just that, like you know, I felt it was just like for me, I have like the type of personality where if like people are just too flat out, like crazy, talk like nonstop. I
Yeah.
just could fucking shut off and
A
just like,
100%, bro. Sometimes you just need to fucking like shut
yeah,
out from that, bro, and be like
yeah,
complete.
they
You know what I
keep
mean?
going.
Like, yeah, bro. Like, there's people that just keep going at you, going at you, going at you. And it could be like you're on a long ride, and all you want to do is like just kick back, smoke a joint, drink a beer, or just like have a sleep or something like that. And then they're just like, "Hey, man, what about blah, blah, blah?" You know what I mean? Like, fuck, shut the fuck up.
Man, it's weird because it's called heaps of people out, like for fight, like jump in the ring and fight. But I
Yeah.
guarantee you, they did. They jump in and go, all right, chop me, and I'll chop you back. Like, remember the story of fucking Hulk Hogan talking about Aoki? And Aoki used to do that. Like Hulk Hogan's talking about Aoki used to like shoot into a work. Like he would work, like talk a lot of shit. Then you get in there. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the Aoki of fucking, you know, like of Australia. I don't know, but I'm not down for it, man. It's just too weird, bro. I'll just be like,
No.
you talk shit about people's kids too, bro. I tell you what, if it was anyone else, they would get a pass. But he doesn't get a pass to talk shit about my kids, but he got a pass to even mention my kids' names or my kids' like situation. You know,
Yeah, yeah, bro. Like you don't mention people's kids and shit like that, bro. That shit's
what
not
do you,
fucking cool, bro.
yeah,
Like you know, and we were talking about that shit earlier, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really bring in kids and fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like everything that we do that put ourselves out there in these public platforms and shit like that, we kind of expect people to talk shit about us, bro. And we open it up for them, bro. Like we like, you know what I mean? Especially wrestlers as well. So, but I feel like our families and stuff, bro, like at the most part, what they come to our shows to check it out, like, bro, they ain't part of the show, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
right. You know what? You don't remember that guy? What was that guy, Dan Leonard? You remember that guy?
Dan Leonard.
Yeah, Dan Leonard. Do you ever remember that guy?
Mm.
He was a wrestling like page troll. He was the worst. He
Yes,
was so
actually. Oh yeah. Like, wasn't there like a what would Chris Benoit do group chat as well at some stage?
That was the one. That was the
That
one.
was that was the one he created.
Mhm.
That's
That
some
was the one.
fucked up shit.
That page was fucked. I was the target of that page so many fucking times. That was crazy. You
Really?
know,
What, they were targeting you?
yeah, all the time. You all the time, man, targeting me. I seen they were targeting like but it was a rookie mistake on my behalf because they were targeting other wrestlers that I knew. And I was like, hey, that's not cool. You're not a fucking, you're not a wrestler. Like, what are you talking about? Like, blah, blah, blah. Mistake on my behalf, really. I just got worked as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then it just escalated to the point where I couldn't get booked anywhere in Brisbane. And every time I wrestle in Brisbane, because Johnny is always happy to have me
Yeah.
at Nightfall, but every time I go there, I get a weird vibe in the locker room. Like it's people don't like me. Remember what was his name? Outback Adam.
Yeah. From Queensland.
Yeah, Outback Adam. So
Yeah.
we're in Townsville. I'd been there for like maybe 7 months or whatever, and wrestling in a program to win the tag titles. So to win the tag titles, right? I walk backstage. Okay, it's no big deal. It's not a real title. You don't have to congratulate me, but it's usually
Yeah.
the gentleman thing to do. You know what I mean? It's
Of
to go,
course.
hey,
Yeah.
your first title, congratulations. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Outback Adam looks at me, sees the title, looks down. Just looks down, bro. Like, I don't know what that was. I was like, what the fuck? I
Was it
was like,
heat?
what?
Like, you had heat with him, or
Apparently, must do. They're like, I
like
got the
what?
real.
Like, was it out of jealousy because he didn't go over for a belt? What was the situation?
Well, that thing that he does with the fucking croc is pretty over. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be a jealousy thing. I don't know what it was, but it was like I deserve it, sort of thing. Gave me that vibe,
Like,
and it
you don't
real.
deserve this, I do sort of shit, right?
Yeah, and like the guy is over as fuck and there, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not, I mean, people aren't really a fan of what I do either, you know what I mean, or the way I look, some people, but, I'm not really into his shit. I watch that, I don't know, I'm not into that, man, and like he's a decent worker, so it's just, the gimmick is dumb and it's a little slightly racist. I don't know. I don't
You
know,
think
man.
you think his gimmick's racist?
Oh no, probably not. I'm just being. I don't know. Is it? I don't know what it. Man, I don't know. I don't understand what that is. I watched it and wasn't into it. But he seems like a decent worker. I've trained with him and stuff. But there is this weird vibe there, man. And like when I had a match with Jack Tar, one of the guys that's a veteran of Brisbane wrestling,
Yeah.
um, he came backstage and congratulated Jack Tar, but like didn't say anything to me. You know what I mean? Like I was like, that's like, that's like, I don't know. It's got weird vibes from it, and I also have my leg
Yeah, you
out
know
because
what, bro? That's the wrestling business, man. There's a lot of people I get weird fucking vibes from all the time, bro. Like when I'm at shows, you know what I mean? Like that sort of shit. Like I feel like it's just out there, and I feel like if you pop for it, you're like, you know what I mean? If you react to it, then you're a mark. But if you just like, you're just better off no selling that shit, and not even like giving a
you know
reaction
what?
to it. You know what I mean?
It just took me a while to work that out. As soon
Yeah.
as I could work that out, and I was like, look, I'll just do what I do, and someone will book me. I don't have to stress. I'm not stressing. Someone will book me, and if I get my passport sorted out, I have options overseas. Um, it's just, you know, man, I've got to pick. I've got to pick quality over quantity. So I just want to work with good guys. So, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to say yes to every show, but I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask like as many good ones as I can, and get myself out there, and hopefully get something. But it is what it is. It's a tough, especially Melbourne's very competitive, man. I love VPW because Mina is a legend. Like, literally he had pullouts, he had 3 shows on one night. He basically had to, it was really tough to get a crowd. And the wrestlers that did show up fucking showed up. And he was out there running it, and it was all over the place. I heard the story, made no sense. Doesn't bother me because I'm not the booker. It's not my job. I go out there, tell, the story that I'm given. Like if the promoter says to me, okay, you're doing a run out, you run out there and smack this guy and fucking hit your finisher, I gotta fucking do it. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. So
100%.
there was some feedback that people said didn't make sense. But I think, I don't know if you've seen Gabriel Wolf, he's a little bit of an interesting sort of, like, he's very artistic, he's very just very obscure. So like, I think that's how his shows run. But I swear, man, I worked my fucking ass off. I had the match with the Giant and Mina, and then I had a match, and then I had a run-in. I had 2 run-ins and a promo.
Jesus, bro, damn. That's a lot of Zuzu on your show, man. They must have really, like, you must have been over for that crowd, bro.
Well, yeah, it's weird, man. It's so weird because it's hit and miss with the show. Some shows he has are fucking like they're packed, bro, and like it's like you work good guys. He's one of the only promoters that's come through who's given me like good guys that he said he would give me. Like I don't know if you know of Raw Beef. They got the 2 brothers, Samoan brothers.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
So he's got me in a program working with them. And then like he eventually wants to give me a match with Gore, and like it's like the fans are really they're really hyped for the whole. They want a match with me and Gore, so it's like there's a lot of opportunities there, and he's no bullshit. You rock up, and he's like, "Hey, go, mate." Yep, and then you go see him for the rest of the fucking time, right? And then before you're about to go out, he pulls you aside. He says this and that, and then you go out there. The match with him, we planned 10 minutes before we went out.
Really?
Yeah, bro, it's under fire. You're under fire because he's a promoter and he's not having a good night. So he's running around, he's fucking doing all kinds of shit. Doesn't really, he didn't get a chance to talk to me and big fella, Dash. So we talked about the start of the match and the finish, that's it. And then the rest of it, we just waited till 10 minutes before and then went through it. So, man, I said to him, like, I would love to give you, like, a much better match. Like, I feel like I couldn't give you exactly what you deserve because I didn't have enough time. But
for sure.
But with reason, because the whole thing was becoming a disaster and he had to go out there and take the reins. You know what I mean? So, but there was a wrestler that arrived and said, didn't wrestle, even though we needed talent, didn't wrestle, and said to one of the co-owners, turned around and said, I'm not interested in working because I'm not interested in making bad wrestlers look good. Yeah.
Oh, that's a cunty thing to say, bro. That is some real cunty shit to say.
And
that's some cunty shit.
If I told you who it was, you would probably wet yourself with laughter.
Who? Like, I'm gonna ask, who was it?
Okay, no, I'm not gonna say that one.
Oh,
I feel like I might be a bully if I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a person like could be easily bullied.
All right. Well, maybe you can tell me after the fact. Tell me after the fact.
But this is the same person I worked a match with. That when they arrived, they said they didn't want to take too many bumps, and they were the smallest person in the match.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So it's like, and that, it's one of the ones too. It's like I'm too stiff. I hurt people. I had a booking on their show, and then I went and worked a match with one of the co-owners, and he stung me in the fucking back with one of those barbed wire bats. I told him to do it hard because I want the shit to stick into my skin. And he was going to go. I thought he would go across just below the shoulders. You know what I mean? That wins you a little bit, but it's not that bad. He goes lower back. So
Oh,
instantly my left leg goes completely numb. I can't feel it. I don't even know how I stood up. I get up. I'm in the heat of the moment because it's like deathmatch is crazy, man. It's crazy shit going on everywhere. So I
yeah,
grabbed the chair and I hit him with the chair. Probably wasn't the most professional, because you go side, the soft side this way,
yeah,
the chair or over the head, straight over the head. Take the screws out if you don't want to give them concussion, which you don't. So you take screws out, and then it just pops off with the glue. But this guy's hunched over, so I figure I can't
get
fucking
it
do
clean.
this
Yeah,
because if I do that, his back's bent and might break his back. So I have to come down the flat of his back, which is like this, with the soft side still, with the soft side. And as
yeah.
I do it, he lifts his head and it catches him in the back of the head. And you just see like a little bit of blood go like this. Now it's bad, but he was all right because he still got up, took the next seat. And I didn't know it was her because I didn't see the chair hit him there.
Yeah.
Now, I never do a chair shot like that, ever. Never. Just in the heat of the moment, I couldn't feel my fucking leg. And mate, I wasn't
100%.
mad, you know what I mean? But I was like, okay, we're going that hard. So let's go hard. We're going to turn it up a notch. We're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
turn
yeah.
and and then afterwards I'll be buy you a beer and shake fucking hands and be your best friend, still, like there's no malice in it at all. But
For real.
that person co-owns that show. So
Yeah.
they fucking said, nah, he's not working here. I messaged him, do you want me to still work that show? So all I got out of this whole trip to the middle of fucking country Victoria was a cancelled fucking booking and $50 and a back that was so fucked I couldn't walk. And then I'm supposed to be number one contender, and then like a couple of weeks later, they did ask me if I could work. To be fair, and I do love Hex. He's a great guy, and they did ask me to work, but I couldn't
Yeah.
make the day. Only 2 weeks after that last one, I was still getting back to the gym because I
Yeah.
couldn't walk. My sciatic was damaged, and but they made that a championship match. So they basically took away my number one contender hype
Whoa.
because they were doing a cross promotion with DMDU and Where's My Ring? Is it
Yeah,
Where's My
right.
Ring? Where's my ring, dude? The dude, Where's My Ring? Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
the WA. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The ringless show in WA.
Yeah. So I love Hex and I've got all the respect for him. He's a great guy. And that's a great show. I'm not bagging it. And I think what they're doing is great because we need it. But like, I just kind of felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. You know what I mean? Like if they come close to New South Wales, I'll work a show. But I'm not
Yeah.
going to go out of my way to go all the way to Mildura to get for that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Nah, bro. 100%.
And
A
then,
hundred.
there's no hard feelings. I'm still a fan. And you know what? I'm a fan of the other guy too. The guy that complained, I'm like a huge fan of his. And I think he's actually like pretty fucking decent worker. Probably not like a great deathmatch guy, but as
Sure.
far as wrestling, uh, like the technique and stuff goes, he's got a nice flow and he's pretty tight for a guy that's apparently mostly self-trained.
Yeah.
So he's an impressive guy, and I still like his shit. But I'm kind of like, man, come on. If someone knocked me, someone's knocked me. That match with Morgan Rose, he
Yeah.
fucking nicked me. There was a bump I did wrong because I was fucking rocked because I got
Yeah.
kneed right in the fucking face, and
Oh,
my whole tooth went fucking numb. And I just kept on going, mate. And then afterwards, I didn't say nothing to him, bro. I just said, thanks, bro. Good match.
yeah, 100%, man. That's
That's
the
what
way.
I mean,
That's
like,
some old school way of dealing with it, bro. But man,
yeah,
I
bro.
just looked at the time, bro. We've been going for nearly an hour and a half, bro. This conversation has sort of exceeded my expectations, bro. I want to get you back on for a part two. I think we got to do the next one with Zuko because I feel like he would enjoy this conversation a hell of a lot as
Oh
well, bro.
yeah, I love the code.
Yeah, man. But where can everyone find you on social media, bro? On X, on Instagram, on Threads, on Facebook, all that good shit, bro. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram on James Zuzu Datsik. So my Instagram link. I'm pretty sure if you just put in Zuzu, it just comes up. I'm pretty sure. But James Zuzu Datsik if you search it. But yeah, Instagram's my only socials.
Well, there you go. Make sure you go and follow Zuzu. But this is the greatest podcast in the world, and this conversation's been amazing, Zuzu. I appreciate you for coming on. Guys, make sure you go and check out our sponsor, sleeps.com, and check out those dirty boxes. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount. But this has been the greatest podcast in the world, baby. Shooting the shit uncensored. I am the truth, Piers Austin, and this is Zuzu, the muscle clown. Till next time, take care. All the best. Mwah. And we'll see you again soon. Peace out.